Okay, so last time we were talking about ratios and how ratios work. Ratios being a comparison of one kind of thing to another kind of thing. And we talked a bit about proportions, and proportions are simply equivalent ratios. So ratios that are equal to each other. And one example that we might have used last time was, say, maybe 2/3 as one ratio and 2/3 as one ratio, and let's make it 4/6. And we know that those two are equal to each other because 2 times 2 is 4 and 3 times 2 is 6. And this can be simplified down to 2/3. So that makes that an equivalent ratio. And that's really helpful for us. But one other thing we need to know about is the information that we're going to learn today, and that is about rates and unit rate. So what exactly is a rate? Well, something interesting about it is that it has 3 letters of the word ratio in it, right? So we have 3 letters of the word ratio. Probably tells us that rate is connected to ratios. And it is. A rate is simply a ratio. And as we see here, a ratio that compares two quantities measured in different units. So they're not the same units. They're different units. With that in mind, take a look at this. Which of the following are rates? So our question is, which of these use different units? Now the first one here, we have 2 miles and 1 hour. So 2 miles over 1 hour. Is that a rate? Well, we have 1 unit on top, the miles. We have miles here. And then we have 1 unit on the bottom, hour. And those are 2 different units, so indeed we do have a rate. So this is a rate. How about the next one? 3 inches to 2 inches. Do these compare 2 different units? Well, inches is one kind of unit, and wait, inches is the same kind of unit. So that is not a rate. So we don't have a rate there. In that case, we have just a ratio. It's not a rate. It's not comparing 2 different kinds of units. Well, let's move on to the next one. So this time we have 75 miles to 2 gallons. 75 miles to 2 gallons. Are those 2 different quantities measured in 2 different units? Well, miles is one quantity and gallons is a different quantity. So yes, this is indeed a rate. So we have a rate here. Lastly, 2 seconds over 55 seconds. Is that a rate? Well, we have seconds, but wait, this is also seconds, so this is 2 of the same units. This one is not. This is not a rate. It's just a ratio. Moving on down, one of the very important things that we need to know, rates are very helpful for us, but we also need to know a specific thing called a unit rate. A unit rate is a rate whose denominator is 1 when it's written as a fraction. So for example, if I was to say I get 26 miles to every 1 gallon that I put in my car. 26 miles to every 1 gallon, then I have a unit rate because I have 1 in the bottom. This is my denominator, and my denominator is 1. I have a unit rate. If, on the other hand, I was to say something like I get 62 miles for every 2 gallons, 62 miles for every 2 gallons, I do not have a 1 in the bottom. I do not have a 1 in the denominator. So in this case, this is not a unit rate. Now, we'll talk in just a few minutes about how to find a unit rate if we are given a regular rate. But for right now, we need to know that a unit rate is one that has a 1 in the denominator. The denominator is 1 there. Which of the following then are rates? Well, in this case, we have 2 miles to 1 hour. Now, clearly this is a rate because it's 2 different quantities. However, is it a unit rate? Does it have 1 in the denominator? Well, indeed it does. So this is a unit rate. That is a unit rate. How about this one? 11 inches to 12 seconds. Is it a rate? Well, yes, it is. We have inches to seconds, two different quantities measured in different units. However, is my denominator a 1? No, it's not. It's a 12, so this is not a rate. This is not a unit rate. It is a rate. It's not a unit rate. How about this one? 54 miles per 1 gallon. Is it a rate? Well, yes, it has two different quantities measured in two different units. Does it have a 1 in the denominator? Yes, it does. Good. That means it is a rate. 54 miles to 1 gallon is a rate. 3 seconds to 1 second. Is that a unit rate? Well, let's take a look at it. Does it have, well, is it a rate? Does it have two different quantities measured in different units? We have seconds, which is one kind of unit, and then we have seconds, which is the same kind of unit. This isn't a rate, so it can't be a unit rate. Even though my denominator is 1, it can't be a unit rate because it's not a rate at all. So this one is not a rate.